Hello, Macarb here, like always. Wicca is one of the most well-known pagan religions, if one is looking from the outside in on paganism. This isn't too much of a surprise, because it seems to make up a big chunk of the pagan community. In fact, a lot of pagans who aren't Wiccans, including myself, have actually used books meant primarily for Wiccans as introductions to the pagan community. For this video, I do want to lay down some background information. First, it is important to know that Wicca is a form of paganism, but not all pagans are Wiccan. There's many pagans who don't follow the Wiccan path. Although Wicca likely makes up a big percentage of the pagan world, though there's no solid census I could find, I'd estimate around 25 to 45%, not all pagans call themselves Wiccan, because they simply don't follow it as their religion. Put simply, not all pagans are Wiccan, but all Wiccans are pagan. The same does go for witches and pagans. The two are similar, but definitely not the same. It is also important to realize that witchcraft is not a form of paganism or even a religion. It's more of a spirituality. You can use a similar sentence to remember this with. Not all witches are pagans, and not all pagans are witches. Most Wiccans are also witches, but there's a small minority that doesn't practice it, and it can get kind of messy. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into all of this. Wicca is a form of modern paganism originally founded in the 1950s, after Britain repealed their witchcraft laws in 1951. It was originally founded by Gerald Gardner, a British occultist who spent most of his life in Asia as a civil servant. At its roots, Wicca began as a movement that worshipped nature and the practice of magic. It also focused on the worship of the goddess and the horned god. Although it was founded in Britain, Gardner borrowed a lot from Western witchcraft traditions, which helped form Wicca into the uniquely eclectic yet structured practice that it is today. Wicca grew very quickly as a religion, and eventually reached the Americas around the 1960s. Years later, it has still grown and is still actively practiced by a good number of people. Like most pagan practices, however, it seems to have a lot more practitioners within European and North American nations, and primarily English-speaking countries, such as Australia. Again, there's never been an actual serious census that I can find that documents approximate populations of pagans by country or region, but from my experience and research, these seem to be locations that most pagans live in. Unlike most mainstream religions, Wicca, like most all forms of paganism, lacks a central authority figure. There's no holy book and no central church or coven. There are books by Gerald Gardner himself, such as Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner, that are trusted and well-known sources to most Wiccans. However, they aren't anywhere close to being equivalents to the Bible, Quran, or any other holy texts. The only true guiding factor that most Wiccans follow is called the Wiccan Rede, named for reasons I assume you can guess, as it is primarily followed by Wiccans. It states, "And ye harm none, do what you will," or to translate, "If you harm no one, do what you will." This essentially prohibits Wiccans from wishing harm upon others via magic and witchcraft, curses, hexes, certain bindings, etc. There also exists the threefold law, which states that you receive 3 times the amount of energy that you give out. Positive energy gives positive energy in return, and the same for negative energy. The majority of Wiccans follow the Rede and threefold law, but not all do. It does come down to preference. Wicca is, by its very nature, pretty eclectic. Many Wiccans see the goddess and god as 2 primary deities who embody other deities from other pantheons as aspects. For example, Bast, who is the Egyptian goddess of cats, is an aspect of the goddess. Vulcan is an aspect of the god, as he is the Roman god of blacksmiths. In this regard, it's a little similar to Hinduism, which sees all of its deities as part of one larger whole. Having no central figure or solid holy text contributes to this eclecticism. Many Wiccans do believe in the Wiccan Rede, meditation, Sabbats, goddess and the god, and the like. However, actual traditions and practices and detailed beliefs may vary depending on the Wiccan, and whether they're solitary or coven practitioners. Like most pagans and witchcraft practitioners, Wiccans get unnecessary bad reputations from outside people who don't practice it and decide to not bother researching it. At least in the Western world, the term witch has pretty close connotations to devil worship and cults. As recent history would have it, cults have caused issues for the United States and other large nations. From Jonestown to Heaven's Gate, tragic damage has been caused and claimed the lives of many people, whether willing or not. Unfortunately, a lot of people have attributed the terms witch and Wicca to being modern and dangerous cults, claiming that they do horrible things without having any evidence or having done any previous research from reliable sources. Partly, this is also due to misinformation spread by religions that don't quite like pagans, such as Christianity. In fact, a lot of people don't even do research on modern Satanism before calling Wiccans Satan worshippers. Levian Satanism is a peaceful and very not sacrificial practice. Many modern Wiccans and other pagans have tried dispelling these beliefs, albeit on small scales. Social media apps such as Twitter and Facebook have allowed practitioners of Wicca, paganism, and witchcraft to put their craft out openly while being mostly safe from physical harm. These have actually turned out quite well. There's a number of YouTube channels, much like mine, focus on these topics meant to inform others that this stuff is not bad. There's also a number of online communities, such as Pagans and Witches Amino, that have been created to allow pagans to swap information and communicate. They also serve to inform people who don't practice paganism that it isn't immoral or sacrificial or whatever. They get an inside look to what we do. Books, magazines, and the like have also been published in physical format that have helped spark interest and inform people about what all this is actually about. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I helped you learn something from it. It was only a simple and quick definition of Wicca, and it can get much more in-depth, but to keep the video from becoming a massive rant on its history, I wanted to keep it somewhat short. Wishing you a beautiful morning, evening, and night wherever you are, this has been Macabre. Till next time. Hey, Macabre here. Thank you so much for watching. Before I go, I want to give credit where it's due. This video and my entire channel would not be possible without the help of my great friend, Dora. She's an amazing artist and an amazing friend. Check out her Twitch below. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy my content. Until next time, this has been Macabre. Thanks for watching.